Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're looking at a really unique stack of source material.
Very unique. We're not digging into, economic reports or historical texts.
No, we have transcripts from popular English learning content, specifically lessons focused on things like motivation, time management, and purpose.
And we even have these framing scripts, the ones featuring James and Rebecca, which are used to introduce the core lessons.
Right.
So our mission today is almost forensic. We're not here to learn English vocabulary.
Definitely not.
We're breaking down the philosophy, the psychology behind how these lessons are built. It's a study in how they shift the focus from, say, textbook grammar to these huge topics of personal growth.
I think that's what's so fascinating. They're using language learning as a kind of a Trojan horse for life coaching.
That's a great way to put it.
They say it themselves. They want to move learners from just memorizing rules to using real, natural English, and this is the key part, to life-changing action.
And you can see they're immediately raising the stakes. I mean, if you're just worried about getting a preposition right, you might lose motivation pretty fast.
Yeah, for sure.
But when an episode is titled "Don't Waste Your Life," it taps into something much deeper. It becomes less about, did I use the right verb tense, and more about,
am I spending my life well?
Exactly. It's a brilliant way to get learners truly invested, to make it stick.
And it all kicks off with this foundational idea, the absolute bedrock of their whole philosophy.
The definition of time.
Yes, how they define time itself.
Right. The core lesson is so explicit. Time is life.
Yeah.
It's not money. Money, you can lose it, you can earn it back.
You can rebuild.
But time, once a minute is gone, it's gone for good.
And they say that accepting this is like the very first step to an intentional life.
And they use these really effective metaphors to make you feel that loss. It's not just an abstract idea.
Yeah.
They say every day is a gift. You get exactly 86,400 seconds.
But you have to spend them. There's no rollover plan. None. Midnight hits, and any time you didn't use is just deleted. Gone.
It creates this powerful sense of immediacy, and they frame wasting time in these really strong terms. They call it killing a piece of yourself.
Wow. That's deliberately dramatic.
It is. It's designed to shock you out of just letting time slip by. They emphasize that the past is just a memory, the future is just an idea, but the present moment.
That's all you really have.
That's the only time you truly have.
Which is such a challenge to how we normally live, isn't it? We're always waiting.
Always waiting for the perfect moment.
Right. When work is less crazy, when the kids are older, when I have more money. But the sources are so clear. You don't wait for the perfect time.
You make the time perfect by acting now.
And if you don't?
Well, that's where they bring in the emotional leverage, the idea of regret. They ask, what do people really regret at the end of their lives? And it's almost never the things they tried and failed at.
It's what they didn't do.
Exactly. The things they didn't do because they were waiting for someday. And that someday just becomes...
Never.
It becomes never. It's
Right.
a form of paralysis.
So that's the emotional hook. And once they've established this immense value of time, they pivot. They start talking about the enemies, the time thieves.
Right. The things that steal our time without us even realizing it. And the biggest villain is the simplest lie we tell ourselves.
I'll do it later.
I'll do it later. They say it's just self-sabotage because the longer you put it off, the heavier it feels.
It builds up that mental pressure, that guilt.
Yeah, until the task just seems impossibly big.
And while we're putting off that big thing, what are we doing instead? Usually it's what one of the transcripts called junk food for your mind.
I loved that phrase, junk food for your mind.
Scrolling social media, watching random videos. It feels good for a second, right? That little dopamine hit.
For a second, yeah. But then you're left feeling empty, tired, and no closer to your actual goals.
Yeah.
It's like eating candy for dinner.
Right. And this is where one of the sources gives this amazing framework to help you, diagnose your own bad habits.
The 5 fingers of poor time management.
Yes. It's so memorable. It turns this vague feeling of being unproductive into 5 specific things you can actually identify.
Let's walk through them. It starts with the thumb.
Okay, the thumb.
The thumb is for losing focus, distraction, specifically just picking up your phone without any reason.
Oh, we all do that, the automatic check.
Exactly. It just shatters your concentration. They call it the biggest time hemorrhage of our era.
Okay, what about the index finger?
The index finger is multitasking. They really push back hard on the idea that it's efficient.
It's a myth, isn't it?
It's the illusion of efficiency. You're just stopping and starting a bunch of things, and everything takes longer, and the quality is worse.
So the middle finger has to be procrastination.
The obvious one, yeah. Delaying, that whole later becomes never thing.
And the ring finger?
The ring finger is for having no deadlines. If a task doesn't have a finish line, it just expands to fill all the time you have. It feels heavy and it never ends.
I know that feeling. Finally, the pinky finger.
The pinky is being busy but not productive.
Ah, the trap of doing lots of small, easy things.
Exactly. Answering every email the second it comes in, tidying up your desk again, saying yes to everything. You feel active, but you're not actually making progress on your big goals.
And all 5 of those fingers, they kind of keep you trapped in one place, don't they?
They do. They keep you in what the material calls the comfort zone trap.
This comes up again and again in the transcripts. The comfort zone. It feels safe. It's familiar.
It's predictable, but it's also a place where nothing grows. It's quiet stagnation.
We stay there to avoid failure, to avoid being judged. But what's the real cost of staying there?
The sources are blunt about it. The cost is everything you want. Your big goals, whether it's learning a language, changing careers, whatever, they are always outside that zone.
So that feeling of discomfort when you try something new.
That feeling is the feeling of growth. They say if you're not a little uncomfortable, you're probably not moving forward. The discomfort is proof you're on the right track.
Okay, so that's the big mindset shift. We've identified the thieves, we understand the trap. So what are the antidotes? How do they say we should fight back?
The advice is all about simplicity and building momentum, no giant scary leaps. The first tip is to make a tiny plan.
I love the GPS metaphor they use for this.
You too.
Saying, I want to improve my English is like typing Europe into your GPS. You'll just drive in circles.
Exactly. A tiny plan is like a specific street address. It's clear, it's defined, and it's small enough that it doesn't feel overwhelming.
So instead of a 2-hour study session,
you commit to learn 3 new words today or listen to 10 minutes of a podcast. That small promise is easy to keep, and that builds consistency. And consistency is what builds habits.
And to find the time for those tiny plans, they introduce the idea of pocket time.
The coin metaphor. I think this one is genuinely life-changing if you apply it.
Explain it.
We all have these little pockets of time, right? 5 minutes waiting for the coffee to brew, 10 minutes on the bus. Most people just throw those little coins of time away.
They throw them in the trash by scrolling on their phones.
Right. But if you collect those coins, use them to review notes, listen to a quick lesson, they add up over a week. That's hours of focused learning you didn't have before.
And you didn't have to find a new 2-hour block in your schedule.
Yeah.
You just used the time you already had, but better.
Precisely. And that pairs with the other big theme, action overthinking.
We can plan forever, but if we don't start, we get nowhere.
Yeah, they say overthinking is often just fear wearing a costume of preparation. The path only gets clearer when you actually start walking on it. That's why they suggest things like the Pomodoro technique.
25 minutes on, 5 minutes off.
It forces you to just start. It bypasses the overthinking and creates immediate momentum.
All that focused time is useless if you're exhausted.
Right. And that's where energy management comes in. You have to set boundaries.
The power of no.
The power of no. Saying no to things that don't really matter, that extra meeting, more TV. It's not being selfish. It's protecting your energy for the things that do matter, your big goals.
And my favorite point from all of this, rest is not a waste of time.
It's the total opposite. They use the analogy of charging your phone.
It's a perfect analogy.
You wouldn't try to run your phone all day on 2% battery. It'll just die. So why do we try to run ourselves on empty? Good sleep, quiet time. That's recharging. It makes the time you do spend working so much more effective.
All these practical tips, though, they only work if you make a deeper psychological shift.
Absolutely. And the first one they demand is this idea of radical responsibility.
Stop blaming, start building.
Yes, blaming your job, your boss, your circumstances, it's easy. But it's passive. It's like standing in a house with a leaking roof and just complaining about the rain.
The rain isn't your fault, but the roof is still your problem.
Exactly. The change only starts when you say, okay, this is my house. I have to be the one to fix it. You become the builder.
And that builder mindset helps fight against one of the most toxic habits they talk about, which is comparison.
Oh, this one is huge. Comparing your journey to someone else's is, as they put it, killing you slowly.
Because it's a rigged game.
It's totally rigged. You're comparing your full, messy, behind-the-scenes story with all the doubts and failures to someone else's curated highlight reel on social media.
It's unwinnable. It just crushes your self-esteem.
So they insist on a different framework.
You versus you.
You versus you. The only person you have to be better than is who you were yesterday. That's it. That's the only race that matters. It frees you from everyone else's fake standards.
And that leads to this wonderfully harsh but really freeing truth they present.
I love this one.
Nobody cares.
It sounds so negative, but it's not. It's liberating.
How so?
Nobody is thinking about your small mistakes as much as you are. They're too busy worrying about their own lives. And once you realize that, it gives you permission.
Permission to be messy, to try and fail.
To be bold, because the fear of judgment just melts away. You don't have to wait for someone to pick you for the team. You just have to pick yourself.
And that connects everything back to the start. The only way to beat regret is action.
Messy action is still action.
They say dreams aren't ruined by failure, they're ruined by delay. Like beautiful fruit that's just left on the counter to rot.
What a powerful image. And that's the ultimate takeaway. The only thing strong enough to overcome that quiet guilt of putting your life on hold is to just do something, anything.
This has been a really comprehensive deep dive into the philosophy driving all this. So the key takeaways for you, the listener, seem clear. Time is life. Treat it like it's precious.
Avoid those 5 fingers of poor time management. Use the tiny plans in your pocket time to get moving.
And embrace that psychological shift. Stop blaming and start building. You're in control.
And that final, powerful message that echoes through all the source material is this: life doesn't owe you anything. You have to fight for what you want. The power to change is in your hands, but only
if you choose now over later.
Right.
So, based on this intense focus on action, on the idea that no risk means no story,
Right.
we want to leave you with a final thought to chew on. If you accept that your life should be a story worth reading, what is one tiny, scary step 1 action you have been putting off that would make today a meaningful chapter?
That's the question. That choice, that single action you take today, is where all this philosophy becomes your reality.
We hope this deep dive gave you some clarity, maybe some motivation to look at your clock and your life with a bit more intention. Keep learning and keep building.